Hey guys, I have something to tell you. Um, Last weekend, I was hanging out with uh, Karma and Ezreal, and things got a little freaky. They got a little funky, um, and I may be pregnant, so I may be having Ezreal's baby. Um,
Oh,
yeah.
that's
Um,
adorable.
Uh,
um, I appreciate Adams. I'm gonna take that as concern for me. Um, I can kind of sense what
concern
you're
for
thinking.
something, that's for sure.
I could sense what you're thinking, Adam. And yes, I am safe to carry. I have those good old birthing hips. I've been eating my Poro snacks now for the past couple months to be ready to birth this child. This is now a expecting fathers podcast. So we'll be spending the rest of our episodes talking about how to be a father while also being a Runeterra pro.
Oh man, that's really difficult. It's a
Yeah,
lot to
exactly.
Yeah,
juggle
I was about
there.
to say, I'm neither of those things. So this will be very informative for me.
So first thing I'm gonna need you to, and actually really all of our listeners to do, is to go get pregnant by Ezreal. That way we could all be in this journey together. We could build this niche into a very profitable niche. Next thing I need you to do is tell Karma she sucks. Because, uh, whatever. Anyways, this is episode 18. That was our first attempt at a cold open. It will definitely be as good as that every time. I am. This is Run the Terra. I am Grandmaster Dan,
I'm Adam Munoz.
And I'm Stan Jarzewski.
and today we're gonna get a little goofy with it. If you couldn't already tell, we're gonna have a fairly goofy episode. I think we've all been, seeing things play out lately. Protests and such. And I think it's important to support them. I think it's also important to just kind of have a moment of respite, a moment of a little bit of escapism. And so we want you to tune in, and we'll do a meta pulse, but I think we're gonna get into some goose later. I've got some stuff lined up. But yeah, let's go ahead and just jump into this meta. What are you seeing, Stan? What are
Oh,
your eyeballs doing right now?
well, we've hit a big turning point. The new patch has very much moved some things around. A lot of didn't kill anything, which is really nice. A
Mm.
lot of the decks are still viable. They've just moved in exactly how viable they are. Um, so Karina Control, Karma Ezreal, and Burn Aggro have all dropped pretty significantly. Um, Burn Aggro's still seeing some pretty solid play. It's just tweaked a little
Yeah, I was
bit.
about to say, it doesn't matter how nerfed it gets, people are gonna play Burn Aggro.
Yep, and it's still a good deck. It's not by no means dead. It's just your new one drop is Teemo instead of Legion Rearguard. He's kind of replaced Teemo as the new premier one drop for the aggro deck. Um, which, besides that, not too much has changed. Static Shock's got a bit more place in this
I
deck now
love
again.
that show, dude.
I know, it's so good. I really
Such a
needed
good
to come back.
superhero.
Um, so that moved around a lot. Karma Ezreal's a lot worse with just its timing's not quite as good, but I mean it's still sort of in the same boat of where, against decks where you've gotten control of the board and you're good to go, you're still going to combo off eventually, so you're fine. It's just you don't combo off faster than some other decks that can sort of go over you if you give them enough time. Um, and we have some new things coming back. Yasuo Control is back on the leaderboards again.
Twitch chat
He's
legends.
he's doing it. He's coming back. Bannerman
I
is.
mean, it's a well-established rule that the more Yasuo decks lose, the better they get.
Mm-hmm.
Is this why people are out in the streets?
Yeah.
Yasuo.
No, but
Okay.
no. Um,
No, important racial justice issues are why people are out in the
No,
streets.
yeah, it's definitely
Yeah.
this. It's definitely the lack of a Yasuo, meaningful Yasuo buff in the last patch.
Bannerman's finally fallen off of tier 1 status, which is kind of nice to see, mostly for diversity reasons than anything else. It's just good to know that deck isn't oppressive anymore. We've got a new, instead of spiders, we now have a, God, I was about to say Rakdos. What is wrong with me? A Shadow Isles Noxus aggro deck, kind of centered
It's kind of the
around-
same colors, huh? Even
Yeah.
almost just like the actual color scheme is basically just black and red.
Pretty much, yeah. And I mean, they're, good old crazy aggro boys. So kind of a new archetype building out here with like Elise Callista and some of the sacrifice package to just hit the ground with kind of beefier units fast. Sejuani's finally making some moves. There are 3 Freljord decks. 3 in
did
Tier
it.
1 right now.
We solved the injustice of Freljord. We did it.
Yep. We can
So, I mean, was that just that Freljord wanted to play mid-range, and while Bannerman was the good mid-range thing to do, you can't play other mid-range decks?
No, I think it was actually our personal, like it was our podcast that did it.
Yeah, exactly ours.
Yeah.
It was burn aggro. The Freljord decks were too slow to beat burn aggro, but they could beat Bannerman. Because they'd
gotcha.
be a little bit bigger than Bannerman, but a little too slow to get rid of aggro.
That checks out.
Deep's coming in hot now that Deep doesn't need to, essentially, the weird problem with Deep was that you wanted to run all this life gain so that your aggro matchup was amazing.
Are you
But
saying
now
it couldn't go under the aggro match?
What?
You're saying the deep deck couldn't go under the aggro deck, Sam?
For sure not.
Is that what you're saying?
Definitely isn't how that would work.
But instead, it's the
it-
deep deck.
I
It goes under
know.
everything.
Despite its name, it does not go under most things. It goes over most
Oh,
things.
beans.
It's
We
weird.
messed up that one.
Yeah, we
Should have
did.
called it the up deck.
The up deck. What's up deck? Cool.
Ooh,
Great.
that's a
We
good.
got
I'm going to
one
write
out
that
of the
one
way.
down.
So, yeah, so the deep deck gets to do a bit more of its mid-rangey stuff by removing some of that life gain and just kind of going a little more all-in on the deep plan. So you can get rid of some of your life gain to essentially add more jettisons to make sure that your deep things hit exactly when they come out, which definitely gives that deck a lot of power. We've kind of got Heimer Vi as the new king of the meta, but it's not oppressively the king. It's only up by like a few points. And
And I haven't even seen that deck.
it's strong. It's
Yeah, it's
real
really
good.
strong.
Well,
I
yeah,
love
I
it.
mean, yeah, it's Heimer Vi. I know how it works. It's
Yeah.
just like no one's playing it.
It's 'cause
In
they're
what?
all at-
Wood tier?
I say it's because they're all ahead of you.
High silver, low
Yeah, it's
gold.
because they're all in Grandmaster tier learning how to emote.
Yeah, this is what I get for not laddering aggressively. I don't get to see real decks. I see nonsense.
Yeah.
There's a certain fun to that though, too, right?
Baby Binky decks.
Yeah.
It's mostly slot bot nonsense decks
But yeah, it's
and people trying to play Sejuani and doing so poorly.
but it's pretty cool. There's a lot of stuff that is viable right now, and then you've got
Nice.
some of your
Nice,
more
dude.
yeah. They Vi is a terrible champion name because they killed an entire word.
Well,
Sucks.
now we just say it's viable.
I will do that. I'm going to start doing that because fuck that word.
Great. I love that.
But you even have some tier 3 jankier stuff that's like right on the cusp of being pretty solid. Like Slotbot is a deck that isn't just a meme anymore. Like
All right.
it's got some inconsistency issues, but it's there.
Run the Terra listeners. What are we going to start calling them? Runners? Terribles? The Terribles?
Terribles
The
is
Terrorists?
fine.
That's not a good idea.
Let's just go with terribles.
The Terribles. How about that? Terribles, listen up. Y'all have just catapulted the Yasuo deck to tier 1 almost. You're going to get Slotbot, or as it's affectionately referred to by Swim and such, Slutbutt. We're going to push this to, at least tier 2 by the next patch. So I want you all getting in the weeds on Twitter, adding Riot, telling them they need to give Slotbot 5 health, 16 power, or actually better yet, 6 power, 9 health. Nice.
just keep giving. Ooh.
Yeah, very nice. And we're
I
going to
don't
get that
think-
thing up to tier 1.
I don't think you can make a card that powerful, Dan. Maybe you can give it 4 power, 20 health, but I don't know if you can give it 6-9. Ooh, that's
Yeah, we need to think about that. Let's go to the drawing board on that with Terribles. Send us in some ideas. I'm going to push for 6-9, but I can see the argument for 420 as well.
Yeah, I just think it's a much more reasonable power level. It's
Actually, yeah, 420 is correct. You're right.
Yeah, 6-9 is just too good. Because
Yeah.
then the moment it changes too, you're just so devastated. You have to quit the game right there.
Yeah, and you get 96. It's not
Yep,
good.
it's
Yeah.
not as good.
Not as good.
But yeah, that's sort of where the meta's landing right now. It's certainly a lot more. It's not Wild Westy, which is nice, but just a lot more things are viable now.
There you go.
So it's looking pretty good. We'll see if some of this starts to like condense down again as decks get more refined, which
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised if this does narrow down a little bit in the next few weeks, like it always kind of does. But we're in a really nice spot right now. This is a good time to be playing the game because everyone has a deck they can play, no matter what your
Yeah.
style is.
And speaking of that,
Yeah.
What are
For
we
the
all
moment,
playing?
let's enjoy that.
Adam, what are you playing?
I guess I'll start off.
Great.
So other than my standard Shadow Isles Failure Control deck, because I'm always going to be playing some of that. I love it. I've been playing a lot of TF Ezreal recently.
nice.
Okay.
Basically, what happened was I was playing Karma Ezreal, and just when I don't ladder enough, and I therefore don't play against good enough players, Karma Ezreal's kind of too easy. It's just like, oh, they didn't kill me. Oh, it's turn 10. Oh, they're dead. So I had to do something a bit less good. So we went with TF Ezreal, which is a lot of fun, but not quite as good as Karma Ezreal.
Yes.
But the deck's got some real legs. Trying to find way. Basically, most matchups come down to can you figure out which of these guys you're going to be able to flip and when you can do it. Because if you flip TF or Ezreal, you usually win, but you need to get there.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of fun. Plunder is just... That card is way better than it should be.
You mean
Plunder?
the mechanic? You mean Pilfered Goods?
Oh, sorry, not Pilfered Goods, not Plunder.
Yes.
Brain fart.
Pilfered
Yes,
Goods
sorry,
is
Pilfered Goods.
very good.
Okay, earlier on, remember how we were bashing on Deep Meditation? Well, Pilfered Goods, it turns out drawing from your opponent's deck is also not actually that much of a downside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just going up
most-
2 cards is pretty strong.
Which I think is
Yeah.
I think now is a good time to issue a very quick I was wrong on TF Ezreal being better than Karma Ezreal. I was wrong.
I didn't think it would be better than Karma Ezreal, but I also was wrong in thinking it would be good. It's fun, and it has it's winnable. I think I could, if I really wanted to, I could push this to a tier 2 viability deck. But
Viability.
I
But
don't
yes,
think I
continue.
don't think it's better than that. I mean, I love the deck. It's a lot of fun though. And when you do flip TF, just I get more rage quits to a flip TF than anything else.
It just feels so good. Like you drew 8 cards and A was sitting there and they just didn't deal with it. It feels so good.
I had a game where I had a slow burn TF going, got it up to 6. My opponent killed it, and I dropped TF on the turn they dropped a new one, and the next turn drew my 8 cards, and they scooped just on the spot. Done.
Yummo.
Felt so good.
Dan,
Yeah,
what
the-
are you playing? Sorry. Adam,
Um,
please continue if you want to.
No. I was just a closing. Your deck feels great.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. Don't take it to ladder.
Yeah.
I've been mostly screwing around with Heimer Vi now that it's kind of on top, seeing exactly how dominant it is. It still feels pretty good. Drawing either of those champions puts you in a really good spot. And the decks have some really strong ways to support Vi even pre-nerf. Her being a beefy, tough unit, she trades for so many things. And having access to ways to kind of get her back health is insane.
Yeah,
Just
absolutely.
they think your Vi is about to die, it's back to 1. Just give it an extra 3 health.
About
and
to
it's
D, but yeah.
About to D. And I mean, the other thing too is the deck has a decent amount of sustain too. With if you get your Vi up to something like 8 and go ahead and hit it with its Spirit's Refuge, you just
Yeah.
beat burn on the spot.
Yeah. This is correct.
Still has plenty of good answers to slow burn down the whole game through. I think the first 4 turns they couldn't get a swing through because I even just hard cast a Claws of the Dragon. It's just like, you're never going to hit me. I'm going to just keep blocking your units until my late game beats yours. So it's a very strong deck. It's doing well against pretty much everything right now, and I very much enjoy that. But I'm probably going to start screwing around with Deep some more too, now that it can be more of the deck it wants to be. And I really want to try it with these jettisons, like really going all in. Cause
going under.
Going under. I do feel like I kind of discredited Jettison more than I should have, because in this deck it's like almost legitimately a combat trick, which is pretty dope.
Yeah.
And that's going to be my next little project, is just playing around with some more Deep, seeing how far I can take that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm on Heimervi as well. I've been on that for pretty much since the card came out. I was on TF Ezreal for like a week until I realized I was wrong. But I'm also melding this Mind Meld deck. So be on the
we
lookout
still have
soon.
to stream that.
Yeah, we really need to stream
we're
that.
a bit late. Definitely next week. I got plenty of time.
Definitely, absolutely.
Yeah,
Definitely, maybe, as the rom-coms would say.
Yes.
But yeah, that's kind of what I've been playing.
Love Actually.
And I've also actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and look at some of these leaks that Adam was mentioning. Because I've got a bit of a meme coming up, but let's go ahead and get some of the serious stuff out of the way. It looks like we've got some leaks from Mount Terragon. Is that right? Is there some sort of spice mountain?
Targon.
Spice mountain.
All right, since I know I'm the lore guy on this podcast, because you guys have not played League much, Mount Targon is a kind of it's League's version of kind of Greek mythology.
Mm-hmm.
You have kind of epic heroes, and there's a heavy tie-in with influence from the stars.
Okay.
So those of you who have played Magic, you'll have visuals and thematics similar to Theros. Those of you that haven't, just think stars, constellations, Greek myth, and lots of kind of pretty cool dudes. Notable factions of Mount Targon include two opposed religions, the Solari and the Lunari, a sun cult and a moon cult.
Cool.
And Targonian champions tend to be... it's a fairly large region gameplay-wise. There are a lot of options, but there are a number of kind of most Targonian champions have some amount of tankiness to them, so I'm guessing a Targonian mechanic could have to do with shields, or I don't know. I'm probably overthinking this. One thing the leak did have is that so the leaks, for those of you that don't know, are voice files for various champions from the upcoming region.
Okay.
Which is what points us towards Mount Targon. Additionally, the HTML code leak, which, for those of you that don't know this, you can use HTML code to, when submitting deck names, to change how they look. There's some fun things you can do, but one of the more interesting things you can do is you can call up sprites with the HTML code, and the sprites are kind of referenced by name or by number. And one of the sprites you can call, and some of the sprites you can call up are sprites relating to the regions of Runeterra. So the Demacia sprite, like the symbol used for Demacian cards, is available, and as is every other region. And in addition to the existing regions, and one for Zaun that is not used, presumably because it got rolled in with Piltover, there are sprites for other regions. They're not yet in the game, and they are Targon. They have Shurima. They have the Void, and they have Bandle City, which is the home city of the Yordles.
Nice.
So
Yordles.
adding this to the audio leaks and for the new champions, we can conclude that Targon's coming next. And that among the Targonian champions will be Diana and I cannot remember the others, and I can go look them up in a moment. But one other thing that we got from the leaks is that two new champions have references to a knight mechanic, and we're not sure exactly what this is, but the voice file is something like play when night or attack when night.
Huh.
So it seems like there's going to be some sort of day-night thing, which makes sense given the Solari and Lunari are opposing factions.
So I'm wondering if that's going to have anything to do with, like, basically the only flip I can see in the game is, whose attack token it is. So that or, like, blocking is the only real cyclical thing in the game right now.
Yeah.
I could see that. Alternately, it could have to do with, it could be like deep, it could be a game state mechanic.
That's true
It's
as
day
well.
when your hand has more than 5 cards, and night when your hand has fewer than 5 or something.
Could also
That's
be
I don't think it will be exactly that. Just
No,
something
yeah.
along the lines of changing by game state.
it could also be even versus odd round number sort of thing. Like that type of thing. There's
See,
really so much speculation.
the even versus odd numbers thing is really odd just because it would,
Nice, dude.
Yeah, got
nice. The wordplay this episode, insane.
just on point. Would be really weird just because, like, that means that a certain deck doesn't ever function on your attack turn, I guess. If it's an even odd thing,
yeah.
Well,
But-
I mean,
Very
that
good
could be
point.
that could be good or bad, right? Like, assuming you didn't tie any night triggers to attacking, that could be, very functional, right? You'd have cards that played differently depending on whether they were, whether you had the attack token at night or not.
Yeah, I'm not saying that it's impossible for them to come up with this. It sounds like it's really swingy for the decks, because having or not having the attack token is such a big difference in how your turn is playing out that it's hard for mechanics to not influence that in a very severe way.
Yeah, but that's not necessarily a bad thing, right?
No, right. There are ways it could be very balanced for sure. It's just I can't think of any that don't feel like they would just be really beneficial in only one of two situations.
Yeah.
I mean, but think of something just as simple as fast speed or even burst speed. Give all your units +1 attack. If it's night, give them +2 attack instead. Right?
That's a
You have
huge
this kind
difference.
of okay. Yeah, so yeah, but right, it's an okay attacking burst spell. Like if you're trying to get damage in, it's an okay thing, but it's a much bigger influence on blocks, right?
Mhm.
So your instinctive way of using a spell that gives attack is to use it for attacking. I mean that sounds redundant, but
No, I understand.
you get my point.
Yeah.
And by changing when you want to use the spell, you kind of create a situation where the optimal usage for what you have two different optimal usages, right? Rather than just you always use it on attacks because then you get damage in, your opponent can't react to it as well. Whereas sometimes you'll want to use this on attacks to get damage in, and other times you'll want to use it on blocks to influence combat more significantly.
Yeah.
Right, creating
I still
dichotomies like
feel
that is a potentially good thing.
I still feel like a card like that, what ends up happening is you'll end up seeing that based on whether or not someone has even or odd turns, those decks have much higher or much lower win rates. And that's what I'm worried about, is that the coin toss of how you start will super positively or negatively affect your actual win rate and chances of winning. Because, for instance, let's say that card only fits into an aggro deck, then on the turns that it can only use that as giving +1/+1 to attacking units, the card's useless for the +2/+2 essentially, or the +2 attack. So it's again, it just depends on what they actually do. We'll see. We'll definitely.
Yeah, I mean, we at this point, we're speculating on a speculation on a speculation.
Exactly. Yeah, we're definitely rabbit holing here a bit.
Sounds like the real estate market.
Hey.
Anyways, so yeah, that's kind of the leaks. I mean, I think we got a good amount of speculating in. And Adam kind of gave away the goat here, but this is something that's been known amongst all Grandmaster players for the past 3 months. I was forced by NDA to not reveal it, but the new meta in Grandmaster is in fact based around your HTML format codes. Um,
You mean deck
so we're
names,
gonna,
which your opponent can't even see?
yeah, we're gonna talk about it a little bit today. It's pretty simple. The way it works is, you play a game like normal, like any tournament. It's conquest as well, and you play the game like normal. You have a winner, a loser, but at the end of the game, um, there's a third category of your like points, and it's awarded based off best deck format codes. So it's sort of a tiebreaker, but there's enough points there that it can actually swing a game. Um, so if someone wins a conquest, they get X number of points. But then also, if their format code is just like plain white text, no border, no sprites, they might get dunked on by the guy that brings 16 emoticons into his or 16 sprites into his format code. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, like what we think the top tier meta is of the new emerging format code meta. So let's go ahead and pull up our list. So one thing that has been actually really good is including the regions that aren't in your deck in your format code. It's kind of a subtle flex. It's kind of like, hey, I didn't use these. These are not like it's kind of like a switcheroo on them. That's been fun.
I mean, if you're gonna next level that strategy, though, what you want to do is you play a single region deck, and then put exactly one other region in your deck code to show them that you could have played that region and didn't, and just like you're flexing on them.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that's
I can
true.
see that.
The most extreme flex.
Another great one is very like it's kind of trying to get goofy with the sprites. So one thing you use, and you'll see this often, is that the challenger hook is used a lot to like show for, sort of like I'm stealing something from you, like I'm taking something from you. And it combines very well with the lifesteal token because it's sort of like a subtle thing of like, you just put a lifesteal token or a lifesteal sprite and then challenger sprite, and then it's like you're stealing their heart, their soul, their win. It's a very sick, very subtle flex. There's also the very cool one. This is one I've been doing lately. Is just using sprite 29, which is just blank space, and just blank spacing your entire thing with the sprite code.
Yeah.
Very subtle, but it is slightly different from just pressing the space bar 16 times.
I think that's the characters from No Game No Life, if I'm correct. They're just blank is what they're called. So that's interesting. Huh.
Not gonna lie, I don't know that reference.
I figured
I've heard
you
it.
wouldn't, but
Yeah.
that's their whole shtick is that their player name has nothing in it. So
There's also, I'm not seeing it referenced here, but there are in fact sprites for 69 and 420. I'm not going to tell you guys what they are, because I want to leave that as a exercise for the listener.
a little bit of homework.
Yeah, but they're very funny. So check those out. Now, looking at these sprites, what do you guys see as emerging as the top tier? Maybe y'all can help me kind of catch a break and get some new ideas flowing in the format code meta.
Well, I think that number 2 and just spamming number 2 is definitely a very important one.
Being the open palm hand.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
a nice little wave to the opponent before the match is essentially like really, a very important way to go. If you're having a particularly rough day, I think 3 is really good. Because outside of being on a card, this very much just symbolizes heartbreak. You definitely put this on your meme decks that you are upset aren't better than they are.
Or you put it on your decks that have a flavor loss to indicate there's sort of a heartbreak there for you. Yeah, absolutely.
I had to make this deck good. Sorry, couldn't keep it where it was supposed to be.
Yeah, exactly.
I like number 6 a lot. Number 6 is actually a really tricky one to use because you can never actually show anyone that deck. Once you put number 6 on a deck, that's your secret deck. It never gets played. Nothing ever happens.
Six is in fact a padlock. If you are caught with a deck that has a 6 padlock on it, you are in fact immediately DQ'd. And
absolutely.
a lot of us in the Grandmaster tier have also starting to get good at like kitty scripting, and we've been going into our opponent's deck codes and putting locks in there. It's sort of a kind of a back and forth, a la like 1990 Hackers movie with Angelina Jolie.
Yeah.
Very fun. Really, the Grandmaster meta is always changing. I'll go back to number 2 being the open hand. It is very much the Braum wave of the format code, being the meta format or the emoji format.
Definitely Baby's first emoji.
Good starter.
Yeah.
One thing to note too, there are in fact 3 placeholder letters that are in Legend of Runeterra's special font, H, I, and J. Not much you can do with those unless I'm only thinking inside of my own language. But really, there's been a lot of work trying to figure out how to make these into anything besides just a greeting. Yeah,
makes sense.
So I think that would really break open the format meta, but we just can't quite do it.
Yeah, that would really.
Besides that, I'm not seeing much else.
I think you guys are sleeping on Sprite 45.
Sprite 45.
The key thing is, it's the pay-to-win Sprite. You go in, you play your blinged out, everything perfect. I've got way too many epics deck. And then you end the game and they see the Sprite 45, they know that they've just been beaten because their wallet's not big enough.
I think also what's good to do with that one is you come in, you play a deck that is you come in and you play and you have your $60 board. You have your $60 Poro that is just like the bruh emoji on his tummy, and that costs $60. And then you play a deck of only commons, and then you just stack your format code full of the Riot funny money. After you lose the game handily, and, it's a subtle flex. It's like, hey, I spent all my money on the dang board, didn't get enough money for the dang cards.
I think
Yes,
this
indeed.
particular one is only useful for the top and bottom percent of ownership of items in Legends of Runeterra. So if you don't own everything in the game, you can't use it. Or if you haven't just started the game, are the only people allowed to use this one.
Because
in my opinion,
great point, Stan. Because what this really is, sort of a dialectical breakdown of capitalism here. Because you have either workers who don't have any cards, ironically using it to point out, oh, you only won because you have money. And then on the flip side, you have, the rich people flexing with their sick money cards and their sick Riot funny money. It also actually costs you $5 to use this sprite every time you use it. So do be careful on mommy's credit card at home, guys.
I'm also a fan of number 13, very aptly placed. That's just the question mark broken down. I think this one is really useful if you just want to invoke anarchy, and is probably low-key the most important of the HTML format codes here. Like, if you're really trying to do something groundbreaking, it's like 5 or 6
I was
of these.
I was gonna say I've only been employing this one on my Mind Meld deck because I kind of want them to sort of question maybe what they're doing with their life and kind of for me to show them, I was already 5 steps ahead and I knew you were gonna be questioning this. It's a very sick move.
If you spend 24 hours straight playing a deck that is composed of 6 of these emojis, you should come out enlightened. Is essentially the game plan here with number 13.
Absolutely. So now the question emerges: how do we get ourselves banned from playing this game by using these format codes? And that's really what we're going to spend the next couple minutes figuring out.
Oh my guys, this is really not that hard. You play a Teemo deck, And I don't mean just like a deck with Teemo. I mean the turbo. We're trying to get all 3 Teemos in play deck,
Yes.
and then your
Yes.
deck code is just a single silent sprite.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
That's it. And
Um,
every time you spam emotes, and every time you win, you find the other guy, you friend them. Just take some effort, guys. It's important. And then you send them your deck code, and it's just the silence emote, the silence sprite.
Okay.
Okay,
that's
what
it.
about
No words.
What about this? So there's a little phone icon, number 44, that sort of looks like it's like phone number being given. So you offer your phone number to the person on the deck, and it's actually just like one of those romantic talk lines, as they call them. But it's actually you on the romantic talk line, and you set up your own bespoke romantic talk line where you just talk about how much you beat them with your Runeterra deck. It's sort of like a Fendom Runeterra niche sexy time. How does that sound?
Good.
Setting up your own bespoke bespoke romantic talk line is the most elaborate way I've ever heard to sexually harass someone.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, they've got to keep on the line. Like they've got to keep paying you. So hey, if they hang up, it's fine.
I guess it is opt-in.
It's very consensual. It's very sensual too. Mostly emphasis on the sensual part and the consensual part. You can do both.
I think the easiest way to get banned is to use this phone emote and then just put Riot's customer service line
That'd be
right
funny.
next to it.
That'd be funny.
And just lead people to that. I think I also like maybe like a few 45s, drop them coins, and then you can kind of redo how the hand emote works, drop a couple 2s in there, and tell people you're going to steal their money. I think that really signifies what's going on here. You can use this for a yoink deck if you want as well, in a more, legitimate use, so to speak. But if you're a hacker, definitely use the coin, dollar, and steal a bunch of Riot dollars. I think that'll get you banned pretty easily.
That also reminds me, if you're a hacker, could you please add in the poop emoji for me? Thank you. I just
Seems
really want a
important.
poop emoji.
Yeah. And can you also make the poros
Yeah.
better?
Yeah, and can you add? Ooh, yeah, add in a Poro sprite. Also add, but like, okay. If you're a hacker and also you have a basic level of like icon design and graphic design, I'm gonna need you to make a emoji of the monkey covering his eyes and smiling, but it's a Poro. That would probably make me king of Runeterra. Actually, I've been trying to break into that.
Okay,
but-
guys. If you're a hacker and you've got some basic icon design and 6 to 12 years of experience with HTML and 3 years of Java experience,
And 7 years
and you're willing to
experience
work
with
for less than
Runeterra.
$7 a year,
Yeah, I'm basically asking for somebody
We
on
have a
Riot's
job
team to
for
do
you.
this for me.
Yeah, I think
That's fine.
also, I think you get banned for just like using 0 over and over again as well. Just because, like, why would you ever use this sprite for anything? And like, the only reason you have a deck with this sprite code is because you're a criminal and need to be removed from the game. Like, I see no purpose for this sprite. What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm also confused by 4, which looks like sort of like a regroup symbol. Like,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's like the, it's
regroup.
It's the league equivalent of pinging. Like just
Yeah, so
pinging
this
a
was
spot.
this was back when they were gonna make this game into just another WoW game.
Yeah, which makes
Yeah.
sense, and it's
Yeah.
just got left over. So this one though, like, I could kind of understand it if you're telling everyone to like gather around your deck, or like, hey, this
Yeah.
is the
This
deck.
is the new meta. Gather around my deck. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That makes
Um,
sense.
The flag is also a really good one for, I think, just if you want to like surrender immediately.
oh yeah, that's the this deck is for win trading flag.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Best way to get
yep,
banned.
exactly. It's
And
like
that
this
one-
was my tactical retreat. This is my tactical surrender.
Yeah, that might also be one that can get you banned if win trading becomes a thing based around this particular deck. Because I'm not sure if you I do wonder if you use the API, if you pull their deck code, if it gives you their deck's name. Because if it does, then you can
I don't
actually...
think it does.
Okay.
I
That's
think I
interesting.
like looked at the deck encoder and it just pulls in the cards in their quantity.
When,
Unfortunately.
not the deck encoder. I'm talking about the when you pull from the API during a game.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
'cause if
I'll have to look into that.
Yeah, because if
Yeah.
it gives you the information, then we can definitely get into a point where like people know what the flag symbol means, and that'll get people banned if that's our goal.
All right, we actually just figured out. You name your deck. It's money hand symbol Johnny Drop Tables semicolon, and you destroy the entire database of Riot's cards
Banned.
and decks. You completely crash the game of Terra and probably get sued for some sort of like FEC violation or something.
Cool. So
You know,
they're the ultimate banning from Runeterra is definitely this.
is banning Runeterra from existing.
Yep.
Anyways, that's been I think our little meta breakdown, our emerging meta in the Grandmaster tier. Next up, we have what I like to refer to as the biggest glow up. So some of you might not know, including me. This was actually all these people in here are based off a different game. I keep forgetting that is a thing. They keep telling my two co-hosts keep telling me, and I keep forgetting. We're gonna look at the top 10 sexiest glow ups. Number one is definitely Corey in the house. No, number one is definitely Swain. For me personally, I don't know if you guys have seen him prior. I don't even know if he's on this list that I pulled up, but he was sort of a weird Transylvanian man with a weird reverse mohawk, and now he's a sexy older Tywin Lannister type.
Yeah, the Tywin Lannister look is definitely doing him some good. I mean, that was a very good character in Game of Thrones. Got out before things got bad. Really smart move. So just all around a good call. Going with the Tywin Lannister look is definitely better than going with weird Transylvanian pirate. That's not where you want to be.
So out of these 10
Swain's
listed
also a
here-
grand success story here, actually, Dan, because Swain used to need a cane to get around, and now, since his rework, he has gone without the cane. He has recovery. It's a recovery story, man. It's inspiring.
That's just the miracle of stem cell research, dude. I mean, that's really all I can say about that.
Wait, is Swain
And
Christopher
demon
Reeve?
power.
Christopher Swain. All right. So looking at this list of 10, are any of these even in the game itself?
I think.
I mean,
that
as
was
far as I'm
percent
concerned,
is-
these don't exist.
Not a one of these.
But I guess what we can do is look at them and see the one that we most want in the game because of how much they have really just sort of raised themselves to another level aesthetically. So going through this list, for me, it's got to be Galio, Jalio, whatever his
Galio.
Galaxy Brain.
Sure.
I mean, he's turned from gargoyle to, I mean, wow! Look at that! I mean, wow!
If,
I don't
if
even.
not-
I'm speechless.
the new, like the old Galio in this picture definitely looks like a, oh man, you know.
Hey,
Don't-
what's up, guys? You guys got any
Yeah.
your Terra cards to play
This-
with?
Like that's what he sounds like.
This new guy is a paragon of justice and
Hey, it's
virtue
me.
and
I
definitely,
just had sex with your girlfriend 37 times.
yeah, he's definitely a
him.
Chad, but like a good Chad.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
Yeah, exactly.
A Chad everyone can enjoy.
Yeah, he's definitely his name is definitely Chad Everyman.
Yes.
So I'm definitely locking in Galio. What about you guys?
I mean, you'll also enjoy that Galio is a Demacian guy who hates magic.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So he'll or like who absorbs magic, kinda. He'll play very well in the Lux deck. Is what I'm saying.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah, nice. Flavor wins. Yummy. What about y'all? What are y'all seeing? What's your best glow up here?
You know, from this list you sent me, some of these are even downgrades.
I agree.
I mean,
All right, Stan, how about this biggest downgrade for you?
so let's see. Biggest downgrade to me is either Trundle.
It's I was gonna say it's got to be Trundle, right?
Like Trundle was epitomizing trolls before, and now he's like, "Oh, I'm cool." Like that's not what he's supposed to be. He's lost his identity.
He drank one bottle of Mountain Dew, and all of a sudden he's like, "Oh, look at me, guys!" You know.
Exactly. Like this.
Yeah.
Just be who you are inside. Be the Trundle you were always meant to be. Same with Rise. Rise looks like an old Jack and Dexter character, and like that's a cool vibe to be. Now he just looks like, oh, I'm just one of those regular old men.
Hey, it's me, magic old guy
skin.
here again.
Yeah, magic old guy like 201. This guy before, he's getting you some precursor orbs. He's helping you out on a quest.
Yep.
Or is like the final boss of a weird 90s video game. Like,
Yep.
I want this guy.
Absolutely.
But they need to put Evelyn in the game because she hot. That's all I gotta say about that.
We knew
Sick,
we knew where
dude.
that was going, Dan. Let's not pretend we didn't. Dan, let's not pretend that we didn't know where that was going.
Fair. I honestly prefer old Evelyn because it's like she's just creepy. She doesn't really know what's going. You know, she just like woke up from her slumber. She's like, "Hey, got any more of those frogs? Those boiled frogs?
Old Evelyn gives me like
Making a potion."
gives me like old MTG vibes. Honestly, like
Yeah.
this is
It
an
just
old
looks like
Magic
she's
the
really
Gathering
uncomfortable
vampire.
in this like sort of lingerie she's constructed. Like she's like stretching. She's like trying to stretch it out a bit because she bought it from Etsy and it was like a size too small.
Ooh, yeah,
You
yeah.
know? Yeah. And then wait. On the left is like Facebook girl, right is like Instagram girl, right?
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. Or wait, no, wait. Let's try one more time. Left is Instagram girl, right is OnlyFans. There we go. There we go. That's what it is. There we go. All right, Adam, how about you, bud?
All right, I have to go with the King of Fabulous. It's Tarek.
It's
Yeah.
who?
Yeah, Tarek. Because frankly,
yeah.
Tarek is outrageous.
Whoa. Whoa.
This
Yeah,
is like
see that?
Fabio
Whoa,
wishes he was
shit.
that Tarek.
Oh, fuck. Okay, yeah, you're right.
Also,
No, yeah.
Tarek is
I
Targonian,
changed
so it's
mine.
moderately likely we're actually getting Tarek.
Yeah, I changed my answer. Holy cannoli.
I think he also quite literally by like the definition of glow up has glown up.
He literally
Oh
changed
yeah,
his skin
excessive
tone,
glowing.
dude.
Yeah. He's
My dude lost opacity.
yeah. But that's
Yeah,
That's a move.
this shiny, glowing, gem-studded Adonis of a man is going to outdo everyone else on this list.
That's true.
yeah.
It's like they took the alpha channel and just dropped it to 50, dude. This is
Yep.
wild, man. Wow.
Also, I want to look like I'm right when it turns out Tarek is coming out in the next set anyways, so, bonus points.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I think that's, I was gonna say, this has sort of been like a not just a meme corner, but we've really constructed a meme room today, I think.
Yeah. By the way, another question I had based on this article, are we getting planeswalkers soon? Because I'm pretty sure a Johnny's Pride Mate is one of the characters here, or not a Johnny's Pride Mate, but a Johnny himself.
Which character?
Because-
Rengar?
Rengar is pretty much just a Johnny.
Oh, that's just a Johnny, dude.
That's just a Johnny. I don't think. Maybe this is one of his pseudonyms. He moonlights as Rengar in his off time.
Yeah, that's just a Johnny
It's
from
like
the Terminator
angry-ass murderer
series.
Johnny.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, I don't understand what was reworked about this champion. Like, this is the same
Wait,
guy.
I'm not
in
with
both
him on the
pictures.
Did they
Art.
change the way did they change which side his robot eye is on? I can't tell. No,
They
it's
didn't
still the
even
left
change
side.
that.
No,
Nothing has
they
changed.
changed his mechanics. I think they're really talking about mechanics changes.
Oh.
Wrong
That's awkward.
article.
I could be wrong though.
The thing
I don't
is,
know what's
like,
up with them.
4 or 5 of these have massive aesthetic changes.
Absolutely,
like massive.
yeah.
Rengar's like one of the few that actually has no change. Anyways, like I said, we've constructed a meme corner a meme room this weekend, and we appreciate you for building it along with us. We hope you guys stay safe, have fun out there, do what you can, and come back to us, or not, up to you. Anyways, For Run the Terra, I've been Grandmaster Dan.
I've been Adam Edelman Munoz.
And I've been Stanley.
And we'll still be with people next time. And we'll see you then.